Daylight Wall stands forever. No other wall stands against it. Bring them down.
It's been a while since I've done Twitter drama. I'm kind of meh with it, to be honest. But it all started with this tweet from Astra Games. Now, if you don't know, I think this is like a small tabletop company. There's nothing bad in that. I always think that it's good to support your local small developers, small writers, whatever. It's good for the environment, especially because you're helping build up something, like the Iron Age when it comes to books, Comicsgate, whatever you want to call it. It helps to do that, because it creates a competition against the mainstream brands that either have decayed, are decaying, or there's really nothing left of them. Nevertheless, it starts like this. Excuse me. When Catalyst punted Blaney Pardo, his fans were certain that Go Woke, Go Broke would doom Battletech. To quote Ingo Montoya, that word, I do not think it means what you think it means. 1 million more than the Clan Invasion Kickstarter. 1 day down, 27 to go. Remember, this all happened like 3 days ago. So, here's the thing. Them punting Bardo was a really disrespectful move, and it soured a lot of people's trust for Catalyst Games, I think they're called, for Battletech in general. Yeah, good job. The company begged for money and it got money from what I can only presume is a bunch of whales. Here's the problem. If you have an IP that was once bigger than Warhammer, remember, bigger than Warhammer. If you have an IP with such power that video games outsell your tabletop, you might rethink your situation, because begging for money on Kickstarter with such power is bad for you. Economically speaking, just going from Kickstarter to Kickstarter isn't gonna help you. Mantic got it right, Warlord Games got it right, Games Workshop got it right. You put out things and people will buy them, and then you work from there. Sure, Kickstarter works if you're small, but right now we're talking about an IP and and a company that really can do it, but they're still left to begging, which I find to be one of the main reasons I never really got into Battletech for that matter. But nevertheless, somebody else comments, "Go fast, no cash," right? And then comes this dumb response. Sadly, Warhammer has gone back to fascism Mad Libs marketing of the Imperium as the good guys in Warhammer 40k 10th edition. Where should we begin? The fact that there is no fascism in 40k. That idea of fascism, the 20th century ideology, is gone. It's almost dead, close to dead, even dead, I could say, at this point in the 20th century. Because technically, not even China corresponds to what fascism means. It's bad because it doesn't understand what fascism is. Okay, I had it with people using that word but never knowing what it means. To them, it always means something I don't like. And you know what? I blame Umberto Eco's Your Fascism for this, because that is such a dumb book and such a dumb definition and points to market, to, check box to prove that something is fascist. Mussolini wrote a book, let's be honest. The socialist wrote a book, because that's what Mussolini was to begin with, a socialist. He wrote that book where he made clear everything that he thinks fascism should be, and yet we still go to a third-rate book which has such a bad definition of fascism. It helps these people just use it against anybody that they don't like. And when it comes to the good guys in 40k, let's be honest, the closest you get to good guys in 40k is the Imperium, the Eldar, more like the Inyad Eldar than the Craftworld Eldar, Farsight Enclave, and the Scouts. Though technically they're all in position of neutrality because they all have their own problems. Then again, these are the closest you can get to a good side, because everything else just wants you gone from the galaxy or tortured. Which in the case of the Dark Eldar is worse if you get that. You understand? That's the closest you can get. Somebody then comes in and goes like, show me the trailer where they show the Imperium being the good guys. And here we go. This is going to take a few posts to reply. Hey, put yourself in the POV of someone who's Jewish and knows nothing about the lore. The catchphrase used by the Imperium are almost direct copies of the phrases used by Nazis to justify killing your grandparents. Of course, you might never see what he refers to, because there's a bunch of them, like the Emperor protects. I don't think the Nazis said the Hitler protects, to be honest, or something like that, but let's move on. Now look at the actions in the cinematics. We have white guys murdering numberless hordes of aliens. Aliens that want to eat everything in the galaxy. And as far as them being white, well, it's kind of hard to tell from the helmet thing, you know. And since they're Ultramarines, we kind of know they are a bit more diverse in their skin pigmentation, shall we say, because the 500 worlds of Ultramar are there. They have a bunch of recruiting grounds. It makes sense. Nobody was angry that they were black. That really, I am not getting it. This is such a dumb thing. Who are we supposed to empathize with? The Marines or the aliens they're slaughtering? The Marines, because they're closest to being human in the first place, as much as, you know, transhumans like them can be human. You don't want to empathize with the creature that wants to destroy everything in the galaxy, or eat everything in the galaxy, more likely. And the Necrons are those that want to destroy everything. Well, one side is talking to us, the other side is dying. That's a pretty easy answer, of course. Because the whole point of the Tyranids is that you don't really know what's going up there. You don't really know why they're doing this. You barely understand how they work. To give a point of view from the Tyranid side, and I'm talking real Tyranids, not some gene stealer cult stuff, you really destroy all their mysticism and everything related to them. You are killing your own lore and stuff if you're doing that. You want this creature, this faction that it's not really human, you don't really understand how it works, to keep its mysticism, because that's intriguing. That makes it not only a good enemy, but a pretty interesting faction to play as well. Oh, by the way, that was point A. This is point B. When you have one side that talks and clearly has emotions you are empathizing with, they become your point of view into the universe. I mean, not really. Not really, there's just the guys talking. Yeah, sure, you can empathize with, let me think of something. You can empathize with certain characters, but they're not really your point of view. That's always why most things, when it comes to supernatural worlds or whatever, there's this point of view of the fish out of water. The guy that doesn't really know and understands things, and he gets through them. Indeed, you might have characters to empathize with that know what's happening, but they're not your point of view. In fact, in Warhammer really tries to go as far away from possible from first-person perspective. Sure, I think they do it sometimes, but they like to keep it a little bit more objective on the third person and sometimes delving into what a certain character is feeling. Still not his point of view. If you look at it, even Zebran's point of view from The Beast Arises was a good one, but it was not yours. You were not supposed to feel yourself like Zebran. And at some point, I don't think people will empathize with Zebran anymore. The whole Calcator stuff, you know. Anyway, where was I? Into the insert. Okay, if we don't know better, remember, we know nothing about the lore, then yeah, they're assumed to be who we're rooting for. Which again makes sense, because they're humans, first of all, and second of all, they're the ones that have human emotions and everything. Not the bugs that try to eat the whole world. C. Believe it or not, I do not know enough about the 40k universe to know there are no good guys. Oh no, wait. Believe it or not, I do know enough about the 40k universe to know there are no good guys. Again, I've already went through the subject. There are only a few factions that really get close to good. And that's about it. And from those factions, you can pick who you think is the good guy. Because it's kind of subjective when it comes to those. But don't expect normal Tau to be the good guys. I'm just saying. It's why I use good guys, in quotation marks. I'm using the same technique for irony that Games Workshop uses, using them far less subtly, and you'll still miss them. The cinematic is meant to convince people who see it to play the game. It does a good job of selling grim last stand against hopeless odds. Yes. And it's a good marketing ploy. It's cool. It tells me that this universe is one where I'm supposed to empathize with fascists. Again, you don't know what fascism is. The Imperium is so far away from fascism, calling it fascist is an insult. If you show this to a real fascist, wherever you can find one at this point, if you can find one in the mountains of Czechoslovakia, I know, let's say the Czech Republic. Let's say you go to the mountains of the Czech Republic and you find one fascist and you show him the Imperium and how it works, he will punch you because that's not real fascism. It's not even close to real fascism to begin with. So again, the comparison is bad. Where was I? Okay. What could Games Workshop have done differently? I don't know. Not do something differently? Because it's a cool trailer. I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of like the trailer for that. And of course, people were mocking it and making fun of this company and its social media manager who went off the deep end. Because this is going off the deep end. To pretend you know anything about Warhammer 40k and come with such drivel is really disappointing, shall we say. To not use better words that will describe this. But this is not all. This is not all. You see, people were making fun of it, and at some point somebody was like, your social media manager is going off the rails. And then comes their response. Thank you for the feedback. They got a raise. I've donated 20% of books on Sunday. I've donated 20% of the sales booked on Sunday to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Marketing products would cleanse the alien, cleanse the mutant, cleanse the heretic, which echo calls for genocide is never acceptable. Okay, if you're not from America, which I'm not, and I hope many of you aren't, because this explanation is redundant, then the Southern Poverty Law Center isn't really something that takes care of the needy in southern parts of America. It is in much way the same as the ADL, but from my knowledge now with the same origins. Yeah, it's the thing that tells you, this group is a far-right extremist, this group is a terrorist group, whatever. You might wonder, how is this different from the ADL? Well, the Southern Poverty Law Center also does, what are they called? Legal cases against white supremacist groups. I'm wondering if they've done this to America first. Oh, well, who cares? So, I couldn't care less about this Southern Poverty Law Center. I was really expecting it in the beginning to be something about the needy, poor people, we help them, which is a good thing to donate to, but whatever. Let's look at this other side. They say they gave the social media manager a raise, which, seeing how this is the same Twitter account, take everything with a grain of salt. But I like this last part, because this last part really shows that that the people talking have no idea what they're talking about. Marketing products would cleanse the alien, cleanse the mutant, cleanse the heretic. You see, this is how you know that somebody doesn't have any idea what they're talking about when it comes to 40k. And that is because that's not the line. The most common line that includes this is burn the heretic, kill the mutant, purge the unclean. The thing with these is that you can swap them around, and it does happen. I can't judge anybody for doing that, because I do that myself sometimes. It just happens they're interchangeable with one another, I guess. But what he's done is just repeat cleanse 3 times, which you can see that's not even the same words being used. Again, once more proving that the person that's writing this not only does not understand 40k, but it cements my idea that this is all a marketing stunt, a ploy if you wish, so that they can ride the coattails of Games Workshop and try to bigger themselves, which is not gonna work that well. Because you see, there are certain subtle implications in the words posted on Twitter right here that don't look that good. Nevertheless, this has been this interesting Twitter drama. Now, initially, it was a little bit confusing and weird, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate it when things like this get spouted about Warhammer in general. When people that have no idea how it works or what's happening pretend that they do, of course, as you know very well with the Temple Institute, and then try to act like some moral guides or people that know it better, when their only definition of some words that they use is just comes from "I literally don't like that" or something along those lines. Which again is very bad. I think at some point I'm gonna do it. At some point I'm going to make, what's it called? I think I'm gonna make a video why 40k or the Imperium isn't fascist. I think that will settle things. No, it won't. I know it won't. At the end of things, what it will do will be just me making a video, a few people watch it, and the morons will keep on being morons, and nothing will change. But I still might do it because, you know, Daylight Wall stands forever, and no other wall stands against it. Anyway, I hope you liked this Twitter drama. I'll see you in the next one.